Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Nadia.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are starting a new chapter, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, second chapter. The title is The Lord in the Heart. And we are happy to have Maharaj on the call. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And yeah, today's class will be just 1 hour, and we are going to stop. Maharaj is going to stop at after 1 hour exactly. And please be ready with your questions immediately after the class. Maharaj, I'm going to share my screen with the verse. Yes, Maharaj, please.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, verse number 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Sukha Uvacha. Evam Puradharanayatmayonir Nastam Smitim Pratyavarudya Tushtat Tathasasardyedyam Amogadristir Yatapyapyat Prag Vyavyasaya Buddhi. Translation. Srila Sukha Goswami said, formerly, prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virat Rupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus, he was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. Purport. The example cited here of Brahmaji is one of forgetfulness. Brahmaji is the incarnation of one of the mundane attributes of the Lord. Being in the incarnation of the mode of passion of material nature, he is empowered by the Lord to generate a beautiful material manifestation. Yet, due to his being one of the numerous living entities, he is apt to forget the art of his creative energy. This forgetfulness of the living being, beginning from Brahma down to the lowest insignificant ant, is a tendency which can be counteracted by meditation on the Virat Rupa of the Lord. This chance is available in the human form of life, and if the human being follows the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam and begins to meditate on the Virat Rupa, then revival of pure consciousness and counteraction of the tendency to forget his eternal relationship with the Lord can follow simultaneously. As soon as this forgetfulness is removed, Gavyasaya Buddhir, as mentioned here in the Bhagavad Gita 2.21, follows at once. This ascertained knowledge of the living being leads to loving service to the Lord, which is living being's requirement. The kingdom of God is unlimited, therefore the number of the assistant hands of the Lord is also unlimited. In the Bhagavad Gita 13:14 asserts that Lord has his hands, legs, eyes, and mouths in every corner and nook of the creation. This means that the expansions of differentiated parts and parcels called the jivas or living entities are assisting hands of the Lord, and all of them are meant for rendering a pattern, particularly of service to the Lord. The conditioned soul, even in the position of Brahma, forgets this by the influence of the illusionary material energy generated out of false egoism. One can counteract such false egoism by invoking God consciousness. Liberation means getting out of the slumber of forgetfulness and becoming situated in real loving service of the Lord. As exemplified in the case of Brahma, the service of Brahma is the sample of service and liberation, distinguished from the so-called altruistic services full of mistakes and forgetfulness. Liberation is never inaction, but service without human mistakes. And the Gyan Timidandasya Ganajana Samakaya Taksun Noitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Mana Om Vishnu Padai Krishna Prastar Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pasyatya Desatane Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Pipa Sindhu Pe Bachapatitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So although Brahma is a very highly deputed representative of the Lord to bring about the creation, still he has a tendency to forget because he is, as it says here, he is one of the mundane attributes of the Lord. In other words, he's a jiva soul. Jiva means tiny, and jiva means forgetfulness. That forgetfulness is enhanced by our desire to enjoy this material world. As long as that desire is present, one will forget one's goal in life. Therefore, one should be very diligent to remove these desires for material enjoyment. And that way, gradually, what is natural, and what is natural means to remember the Lord always. To remember the Lord always is the nature of the soul's existence. The soul in its pure state of existence can never forget the Lord, can never do anything outside of relationships with the Lord. But in this covering of the material energy, that forgetfulness is there. Maya has two potencies. I forget the Sanskrit name for them, but there is a Sanskrit terminology that describes Maya's two potencies. One is called throwing, and one is called covering. Maya throws one outside of devotional service, and then she makes one forget what devotional service is and what is our relationship with the Lord. Now, this forgetfulness is a feature of the material energy, and it comes simply by that association. And therefore, here we saw Brahma. He realized he was outside of his relationship. He, in other words, his consciousness was in the wrong place. So he was meditating on the Virat Rupa, form of the Lord. In other words, this reminded him of the Lord's presence in everywhere and everything. Simply by being remembered of the Lord, gradually, then the instructions that he received from the Lord, that he was given these instructions within the heart. And now he was recalling these instructions, and he was able to get back to his proper consciousness and therefore engage in a very big service, and that is creating, putting together the material energy in its different basic features, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, and intelligence of false ego, and formulating the different bodies of the living entities according to their last karma. Not an easy service. He was deputed that big responsibility because he had that intelligence. But even one who has great intelligence can also become subjected to this forgetfulness. And therefore, the scriptures say, Satatam Kirtayam Tomam. One should remember Krishna always. One should chant the holy names of the Lord always. One should, in some way or other, be connected to Yena Kena Pukarena Nama Krishna Sayat. We see even great souls have a tendency to forget the Lord. Although they're great, still, because of the association with Maya, matter, forgetfulness manifests. Only those who are fully purified in consciousness can remember the Lord continuously without any interruption. Bhagavatam explains what is perfection in devotional service. Savai Sam Varo Dharma Yato Bhakti Ahoksaje Hoituki Apriyata Yayatma Supersediti. That devotional service becomes fully accomplished or reach perfection when the mood of ahaituki apriyata. Ahaituki means without motivation. Apriyata means without cessation. That means when the living entity serves the Lord without personal motivation and without any break in that service. And that is the soul's nature. So to come back to the soul's nature is the process of pure devotional service. So one should associate with devotees who can help us remember Krishna. Association is one of the principles of remembrance. When we associate with devotees, we have a tendency to remember Krishna because devotees represent devotional service and they represent Krishna. So that will eliminate or at least mitigate the tendency for the conditioned soul to forget. Forgetfulness is just the nature of the material energy to place this energy upon the conditioned soul. But it's not the nature of the soul to forget the Lord at all. It's artificial. So the easiest way to remember the Lord is to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Brahma, he had a particular method. He remembered the Virat Rupa form of the Lord. We can also do that. What does that mean? That there is nothing outside of the Lord, and all of the manifestations of creations and their different individual compartments are also angas or limbs of the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is for the sake of remembrance. The Virat Rupa is there. But for devotees, you can simply chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra at any time, anywhere, any place. Nam Namakardhi Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Tatarpita Niyamita Smarane Nakavaha. One can remember Krishna simply by chanting Hare Krishna. This is the easiest and recommended means by which one can purify their consciousness and also connect with Krishna in devotional service. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has made the process so easily available, and not only the process, but the availability for those, the qualifications for chanting has been dropped. Previously, it's mentioned that one could not perform devotional service unless they were Brahminically inclined, or at least had Brahminical status. The Lord Chaitanya got rid of all of that, and he simply said, remember Krishna through chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and you'll be able to remember Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. When you are in association and serving devotees, it becomes more inclined to remember Krishna more and more. Or sometimes we find that when we are in the peace of our own solitude, the mind sometimes is easily controlled, and sometimes we can just direct that mind to Krishna in our own solitude, and it's nice. But anyway, the goal is to remember Krishna, always like that. Forgetfulness sometimes can cause great calamities in life. Sometimes we see people who forget to concentrate on what they're doing will cause some mistake or accident, which could be quite fatal. There's many examples in today's world where people have been diverted in attention, and because of that diversion in attention, they have lost their life. So yeah, there's examples like that. There are many. And so therefore, this forgetfulness or the roaming mind, which causes us to drift away to what we're doing. So one of the principles that one should practice is to be here now. That means be connected to what you're doing at every minute. Sometimes when we're doing things, we're thinking about what we're going to do next while we're doing what we're doing. And that may be okay, but it can also cause problems because then the tendency to become less attentive to what we're doing can cause calamities. Sometimes we make a mistake, we commit an offense because of diverting our attention away to what we're doing. And so therefore one should practice mindfulness. And now that term is a recent term that's come up within the age of Kali, that mindfulness means keeping the mind full in direction to the activities one performing, especially in connection with Krishna. And you'll see life becomes actually very easy if we always stay attentive to what we're doing. There are people who like to break our attention, family members, friends, messages that come into our phone or something coming from the outside that will cause our attention to be diverted away from what we're doing. So one should be very careful and practice that, and that will help one in the ultimate principle of remembering Krishna always. You learn how to stay focused in whatever you're doing, whether it's working, maintaining family responsibilities, everything. We stay focused, then the mind is more controlled. When the mind is more controlled, then it becomes easier and more natural to avoid this nature of forgetfulness, which can lead to big problems. And at the time of death, when the living entity is undergoing difficulties, it becomes difficult to remember Krishna. Therefore, by practicing how to remember Krishna throughout one's life, and learning how to control the mind away from things that have a tendency to divert the mind, that we have to be careful because we also have certain things that may come up in our day-to-day life that are very attractive, cause us to become less attentive to Krishna or to devotional activities. And therefore, one has to practice what is called the easiest way to control the mind in terms of the negative aspect is to give up sense gratification, because sense gratification causes the mind to become what we say uncontrolled. Because the mind uses the senses to find some fulfillment in these things. And then we can't say, some people think that, well, the non-devotees, they have good mind control. But their mind is being led by the external energy. Therefore, there's not really any control. They're more like under the care of a taskmaster who is pushing them and whipping them in a certain direction. And they follow that very meagerly and humbly, but actually their minds are there. Therefore, it says, there is a nice verse in the, I can't remember the first word of the verse. It's from the fifth canto, um, 18th chapter, 5:18:12. Go to that verse. It's a very famous verse. It's been talked about a lot in Srila Prabhupada's lectures, 5:18:12. And it just illustrates that what is real mind control in terms of what appears to be mind control. Yeah, yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai gunas tatra samastate suraha. Harava bhaktasya kato mahagunam manoratena satai rutena sati dvayato bahi. Translation. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga, or the honest endeavor for maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So the verse is saying, actually, when one puts themselves under the control of the material energy is leading one according to one's desires and activity in different ways. And therefore, there one is driven by mental speculation rather than by, even if they have certain good qualities by material standards, still, these good qualities are more like shadows. They're like clouds. They look like something good, but there's no substance to it because their good qualities are adapted based on fulfilling their material desires, which is the mode of personal gain and selfishness. And this verse is really helps one to understand. We see so many people in the material world, we give them so much credit for whatever they're doing, but actually they're just being driven by mental speculation, and they're under there's a nice little caricature where you see there's puppets, and there's the puppeteer with the strings pulling the puppets. The puppets are the living entities in the material world. The strings are the three modes of material energy, and those who are pulling are the different demigods, pulling the strings according to the three modes of materiality. So, but devotees, when they fix their mind on the Lord and engage in service to the Lord, then they develop good qualities, strong mind, and not easily deviated from their goal in life or their activities to achieve the goal in life. So we have to practice this, we say, and the best way to practice is to have good japa. And good japa is really the foundation by which one learns to control the mind nicely. Japa not only is manifested during the time when we're chanting, but it leaves residual benefits that carry the living entities throughout the day, and when they're faced with so many different activities that they have to encounter in order to fulfill certain needs or desires. So the holy name is the foundation. We should practice chanting more and more and more. Srila Prabhupada's encouragement is that we chant all 24 hours a day. There's a saying in Bengal, Hate koro kaje muke halo hori hari. Hate koro kaje muke bolo hori. Hate koro kaje muke bolo hori. And so muke bolo hori means chant the holy names, and hate koro kaje means to work with your hands. You may be working with your hands doing things, but you can always chant the holy name. It's not like we always chant just when we have beads, and then we put the beads down, and then that's the end of Krishna until tomorrow. That's not the way to practice devotional service. The beads is the accelerating method by which the mind becomes focused on Krishna. And then we carry that through by continuing to chant and remember Krishna in different ways. And then the mind becomes, then we won't forget, even in our daily activities of ordinary responsibilities, then where the mind will be strong and we'll be able to carry out even our daily activities without any difficulty. Because the idea is to have mindfulness, so keep that mind focused. The mind is chanchala. Chanchala himana Krishna pramati balabhadrita. Tasyaham nigranam manye vayaridam saduskaram. Arjuna says to control the mind is like controlling the wind. Krishna agrees with him and says, yes, you're right. But constant practice and giving up sense gratification, one can eventually control this restless mind and make it your servant rather than making the mind, you become the servant of the mind. We can serve the mind, or we can become servant of the mind. We can use the mind to serve. The mind has to become the friend, as Krishna says in the Bible. One should elevate themselves by their mind and not degrade themselves. The mind is the friend of the conditioned souls and its enemy as well. So we're right there with our own friend and enemy, constantly with us 24/7. So that means that there's almost like another person with us all the time. And when the mind is acting outside of our own best interest, then they become the enemy. And so it requires much diligence to keep the mind focused. But good sadhana in the morning, especially chanting the holy names and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, will give foundation to the controlled mind. And then Krishna consciousness becomes really natural and easy rather than a hard struggle. And then you will not become confused about what to do and how to do things. Everything will be clear, simply because of that connection with Krishna through the holy name. Okay, so these are things we can think about.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful class. You reminded us about the forgetfulness we have and also about the attentiveness and mind control, which helps us in remembering Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Dear devotees, please turn on your cameras if possible, wherever you are. And we can open up for questions if you have any. We just have half an hour time today. Please take advantage and ask your questions. Maharaj, you were talking about Maya. Maya's potencies, one is throwing, one is covering. Can you little bit elaborate on that topic, Maharaj?
Yeah, when you act outside of devotional service, you come under these two potencies of Maya. And that is forgetfulness and, well, Maya's job is to get you allured to something outside of devotional service. Of course, that's her duty in order to strengthen us. But she can be very expert in doing that. So there's two terminologies. I don't remember. Sridevi, you remember those two terminologies, the throwing and potency, covering potency?
No, Guru Maharaj, offhand, I'm not able to remember. I'll look it up.
Yeah, throwing and so she throws you out of devotional service and she makes you forget what devotional service is like. But sometimes people, leave devotional service, although they may have been experiencing much happiness when they were performing devotional service. They can't remember what it was like. And even if they can remember, they cannot really take advantage of that because this is Maya's covering point. She covers you, makes you forget. So these two potencies are there, growing and covering. Throw you out, make you forget.
Mhm. Okay, Maharaj. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
That's why you can see people maybe who have rationalized, they can rationalize why devotional service is not really so great. Because they're under the covering potency of the Lord.
Mm.
And they're talking through this contamination that comes by way of Maya's energy.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj.
Maybe
So,
you can look up throwing and covering and see what you can find.
yes, Maharaj.
Anyone else? Any questions, comments?
1 second, there is something on the chat. Yeah, Maya is working. I'll share this. Sridevi Mataji posted some lecture. 1 second, Maharaj, I'll share this. That's a big one. Okay. 1 second, Maharaj. Where is the Maya is working in two ways.
Yeah,
Uh,
there it is. Sapnika Shakti and Avaranmika Shakti. Avaranmika Shakti means she is covering. Avaranmika Shakti means she is covering. Real fact is covered by Maya. Just like the cow covers the sun, we cannot see. Now, in a few days it's going on, there's the cloud, there is cloud always. We don't see the sun. That doesn't mean that there's no sun. So Maya does not allow us to see Krishna. That is one Shakti. Avaranatmika Shakti, another Shakti, is Priksapatimika Shakti. Even when desires to see Krishna, she throws away. She tests whether actually he wants Krishna or keeping Krishna in the front. He wants some material pleasure. Therefore, she throws away. In this way, Maya Shakti is acting.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is very much in detail. Um, so even though we want to see Krishna, but Maya tests us and whether we really want to see Krishna or not. So, yeah.
She doesn't allow you to see Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
For the throwing potency. Once she covers you, she keeps you away from Krishna.
So that's why non-devotees are not able to see Krishna, or they are not able to realize Krishna immediately, like even though they go to temples or Bhagavad Gita like that, Maharaj.
No, that's somewhat of an indication of the Maya's effect, but this refers to devotees who were in the Krishna consciousness
Okay.
and then fell out of Krishna consciousness, and now they can't get back because Maya won't let them get back. Because somehow they're still in that mood of enjoyment separately.
Dear devotees, any questions or comments?
You see, over the years, we've been doing this talk, and you see there's some devotees who come, they stay for a while, they get all fired up, and then after a while they go away.
Hmm. Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. On this point of being consistent in our devotional service, is that coming to the mode of goodness is the single most important endeavor that a devotee should make? Because as long as the modes of passion and ignorance are still there, we will never be able to overcome this throwing and covering potency. So, striving for the mode of goodness should be one's endeavor.
We strive for devotional service, but we practice the qualities that are in execution of our devotional service. We don't strive for goodness. We cultivate those qualities that are conducive to to devotional service, which are the qualities of the mode of goodness. Okay, I'll read this something here. Let me see how to get out. How do I get out?
Exit full screen, Maharaj. You can press escape or
Exit full screen. Okay, and then I'll go to. Let me see here. I'll read the qualities of the mode of goodness, and so you get an idea. These are 12 in number. Now there's two statements. One is from the Bhagavad Gita, and the other one is from one scripture called the Sanat Sujata. I'll read the one from Sanat Sujata because it includes the ones from the Bhagavad Gita. There are 12 qualities of a perfect Brahmana: following religious principles, speaking truthfully, controlling the senses by undergoing austerities and penances, being freed from jealousy, being intelligent, being tolerant, creating no enemies, performing yajna, giving charity, being steady, being well versed in Vedic study, and observing vows. Now, from the Bhagavad Gita, it says peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. So there's 9 qualities. So if you align it up, peacefulness means creating no enemies. Self-control, controlling the senses by undergoing austerities and penances. Tolerance, by being tolerant. Honesty, by speaking truthfully. Knowledge, by being well versed in Vedic studies. Wisdom means being intelligent. Religiousness means following religious principles. So these are the qualities of the mode of goodness by which devotees should practice devotional service. So these are qualities that you adopt in the execution of your service. And that makes your service, and the qualities itself are of the mode of goodness, but then the service is actually Sudasattva. It takes you above the mode of goodness into the realm of pure goodness, which is devotional service. So striving for the mode of goodness simply means developing and practicing these qualities in relationship to your service. Not separate from your service.
I still have some questions, but I'll wait, Guru Maharaj. Let this sink into my head first.
All right, if you like.
thank you, Mataji. Krishna Kaviraj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj. All glories to all of the Vaishnavas. Guru Maharaj, I just wanted to say a comment. I wanted to say a big, huge, massive thank you to you, because a week ago in class, you recited a verse from CC. I think it was from Anchalila 199. And immediately I fell in love with that verse, and I've been reciting it before I chant every day. And it has been making my chanting so nice, so relishable. And it's taking longer, but I just love it now. And I just wanted to say thank you to you and share that with the devotees in the hope that it may help them too.
You can tell us the verse?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Oops. CC Ancha 199. It was
First
the one. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert.
And Srila Rupa Goswami's ecstatic expression of his chanting of the holy name. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, and he actually became so animated that he started to glorify Lord Rupa Goswami with 1,000 mouths, it says. There's no verse like that anywhere else. There's a verse that's similar to that, but not like that one.
Sorry, I didn't catch the chapter number. Can you share the chapter number?
Until 199, chapter 1, verse 99.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
Tunde Tandave Tandavi. Tunde is the first word. Tunde.
I'll go to this one. 1 second.
You want to go to that verse?
Yes.
Or you want to get some ecstatic symptoms? Let's see.
Yeah. I'm sharing.
A similar verse by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's similar. Not the same. Tunde.
Sorry.
Tunde Dandavine Rapin Vitani Te Tundavani Labdade. Vanda Koda Kambi.
Timothy, it is
Nana Buddha Yaspiham. Chaita Pangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvarendriyanam Kitim. No Jane Janita Kriya Vir Amrita Krishna Pavana Dhayi. Somebody you can.
I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's from Vidagya Madhava. It's a 7-act play written by Sri Rupa Goswami. And that's Rupa Goswami's ecstasy and devotion.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing. Such a wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Maharaj, we have a question on chat by Narsimha Leela Mataji. She's asking, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Maharaj. You spoke about association. Very often I see how easily my mind consciousness becomes influenced even by a moment of association with wrong people. What to speak of prolonged association? After that, I get all kinds of material mental pictures in the mind, which really disturb my mind, and sometimes it is not easy to come back to my natural condition. Could you please shed some light and help me understand how to protect myself?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So when you're in the association of the non-devotees, chant Hare Krishna. Remember Krishna. Pray to Krishna. In that situation, you're somewhat under the influence of another energy. So therefore, what can you do? You want to try to fight that energy directly? You can't. All you can do is bring in Krishna. And that will give you protection. And even if there's some disturbance, it'll be easily overcome.
Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any more questions or comments? Yeah, Revati Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Guru Maharaj, in the purport, I just wanted to again clarify with you. Like Brahmaji is in the mode of passion. So because of his forgetfulness, he lost that, like he cannot create that material because he got the instructions from Krishna to create this material universe. Then he later, he meditated on the Virat Rupa so that he can create this material energy. So how should we understand, like even in the purport also, one should meditate on the Virat Rupa, so to purify your consciousness. Then so we should meditate on the Virat Rupa. Generally, Virat Rupa is for neophytes. So
The idea was that it brought back memory of Krishna. Whatever helps you to remember Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. For us, it's the chanting of the holy name. But if you want to remember Krishna by thinking of the Virat Rupa, that's one way of remembering Krishna. It's not a meditation. Meditation is for the non-devotees. It's for, oh, I forgot Krishna. Oh, yes, yes. I see this beautiful mountain. This mountain is actually the bones of the body of the Lord. I see these oceans. The oceans are his, the oceans and rivers are his veins. So as soon as you connect an object with Krishna as given by the universal form, then you're remembering Krishna again. So that's the idea, to get back to remembrance of Krishna. If somebody steps on your foot, sometimes you think, Hare Krishna. Wow, that was good. I remembered Krishna. I know one devotee, she hasn't remembered Krishna in many years. And then she was walking along the street where she lives, and she passed by this one house, and the dog barked really ferociously, and it scared her. And when she got scared, she said, Hare Krishna. And then she told me, oh my God, I said Hare Krishna. I hadn't even done that in years. I said, all glories to the dog, The dog became your guru.
so everything remembering in relation to Krishna.
Yeah. Sometimes it comes by way of some unfortunate situation, but then it becomes fortunate by remembering Krishna.
So as a bhaktas, it's okay to do that kind of meditation, Guru Maharaj.
Oh, just chant Hare Krishna. It's easier. That's what you want to do, chant Hare Krishna. Well, keep a picture of Krishna with you and then look at the picture.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Circling back to that first question, Guru Maharaj, what if we still have, we are still in the modes of passion and ignorance, predominantly passion? Can that be dovetailed in Krishna's service somehow? Because who knows when we'll come to the mode of goodness?
Well, keep going. Don't give up.
I don't know. I'm very attracted by, the modes of passion. I want to do something, in Krishna's service. I want to do this, that, and I don't know whether that's all mode of passion or mental speculation or a sense of adventure that I want to have, some excitement I want to have in Krishna consciousness. It's
If
all
it-
mixed up, Guru Maharaj.
If it's mixed, there is mixed, The activity is devotional service, but the motivation is something in the mode of passion. That's called mixed devotion. People do things that are of the pure nature, but then their activities are not pure. And therefore, their devotion is mixed. So if you create the motivation that is pure and the activity that is devotional service, then you're more moving towards the mode of goodness. When you're mixed, then personal desires and they're in the mode of passion and ignorance generally. There are also personal desires in the mode of goodness. But those are things that could easily be shifted to devotional service. Just like Prabhupada's talking about the mode of goodness. And he's reciting the different characteristics of the mode of goodness. He's on a long discussion of the mode of goodness. And then one devotee says, well, knowledge is a quality of the mode of goodness. And then the devotee says happiness is one of the qualities of the mode of goodness. So Prabhupada said, yes, but knowledge is also a quality, and that knowledge tells you there's no happiness. So the mode of goodness, happiness, is more like a relief for suffering. Not so much real happiness comes from the heart in relationship to the Supreme Lord. Not this material flickering happiness.
So this is actually a form of sense gratification, wanting to get something from the devotional service, wanting excitement, wanting this and wanting that. It's all personal motivation, isn't it, Guru Maharaj?
It's still devotional service, but it's tinged by personal desire. That's all.
Hmm.
It's not pure. So the thing is, when you don't get that happiness and you plan on it, then you give up the activity. But if you have a little bit of desire for happiness, but the importance is the devotional service, then that will overshadow that little bit of desire, personal desire. And so it depends on what's more prominent. Our desire to serve or our desire to enjoy? Or our desire to enjoy by serving? It's still motivated by the mode of passion. Just desire to serve, enjoyment will come as a byproduct, not as a feature of one's devotion. In other words, don't try to enjoy, just try to serve. And you'll enjoy. All you have to do is just serve and you'll enjoy. His devotional service is susukham. It's happy, it's happiness already. So when you pollute it with your own desire to enjoy, then you don't get that happiness that comes from devotional service.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I needed to hear that. Hare Krishna.
So, Maharaj, in this connection, so even being in the mode of goodness, also we can have these desires and we can work in this
Yeah.
mode of goodness, right?
Yeah, you could have some desire for knowledge, desire for happiness, desire for being peaceful. I want to be peaceful.
Okay.
And one of the qualities of the mode of goodness is peacefulness. But devotees don't want to be peaceful, they want to be enthusiastic about serving. That's beyond peacefulness.
So even though we start any work in the mode of passion, but eventually, if we can come to the platform of mode of goodness, that is better, right, Maharaj?
Oh, yeah. And because the mode of passion will drag you, to different desires, the mode of goodness, at least those qualities that are conducive to bhakti. You can't execute bhakti with the qualities of the mode of passion.
I feel like when you start anything in mode of passion, you can't continue for so long until you come to the mode of goodness. Then you will come into a steady state. Maharaj, is that right?
You're not going to come to the mode of goodness by working in the mode of passion. That's not true.
Okay.
You're going to come to the mode of goodness by cultivating those qualities that are in the mode of goodness. Practice those qualities. We read the qualities.
Yeah. And I had one more question, like for example, if I am planning to do some particular type of service, and but the situation around me demands in different direction, so but my interest is in the other service. So then, how to is it okay if we deny this particular service, or whatever it comes in our way, we should accept it? I always have this dilemma, Maharaj.
If you have that, that means there's a greater challenge.
Mm.
That's all. The challenge is greater. You have to take more shelter. You have to use more intelligence. You have to become more determined. When things are easy, then okay. But then when there's that move you away from your desired activity, then you have to, make an effort, greater effort. That's it. Maybe you can post that Nishringalila, that seminar. Is there a title for that seminar with a link that devotees can go to?
Yeah, there is a seminar in 3 parts by His Holiness Sivaram Swami Maharaj on the modes of nature. It really helped me a lot understand and perceive my conditions. Yeah, please share it with us, Mataji.
Yeah, that's Maharaj is very learned. Okay, so send it in the chat group. Okay, we're coming up to the end of the program. Thank you very much. And
Tomorrow's class is with ISKCON Harrisburg devotees, and the verse number is 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, and verse number 17.
this verse is phenomenal.
Mm.
This verse is so wonderful. It's one of my favorite verses. So please come by. Srila Prabhupada also gave lectures on this verse. You can look it up in the listings of Srila Prabhupada's lectures, 2-3-17. I'm so happy that I got this verse.
Sure, Maharaj. We'll definitely join and listen to the class. Wonderful class.
Say something.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear devotees. See you all tomorrow. I'll share the link in the WhatsApp group. Sure.
Thank you very much for today's class. Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank
so
you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat
Thank you,
pranam.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru.
Very much.